Okay, so now we're going to talk about radians, which is this is going to be really an introduction, and it's something that depending on which Algebra 2 class, if you've taken Algebra 2, you may have some experience in, and you will, if you go to pre-calc, you'll use it more. We often use radians when we're doing trig. We'll do some right triangle trig later, but it's another way to measure angles. So 360 degrees is the same as 2 pi radians. 180 degrees is pi radians. And 90 degrees is pi over 2 radians. Okay, so that's typically how we use it, and but it's related to arc length, and I want to go over that now because it's something we use later and often don't talk about where it comes from. So radians is simply an arc length of a circle when the radius of that circle is 1. Okay, so if you find the arc length of something and then you simply divide by the radius, you have the measure of the arc in radians. So again, that's a measure, not a length. Just like we can have a measure of an arc be 90 degrees, then the measure in radians would be pi over 2 radians. So that's how that goes, and it's just an arc length. That's all it is. If the circle of the radius has is 1. So let's look at this a little bit. So in a circle, right? A circle has 360 degrees, and if my radius is 1, then the arc length is really the entire circumference, right? Which would be 2 pi r, and r is 1, so we get 2 pi times 1, which is simply 2 pi. So 360 degrees would be 2 pi. Okay, and if we are talking about, let's say, 30 degrees, okay, again, my circumference is going to be 2 pi because my radius is 1, so my whole circumference is 2 pi, right? And then I need to figure out what fraction of a circle 30 degrees is. Well, 30 degrees out of 360 degrees is the same as 1/12. So I'm going to do 2 pi over 12, which equals pi over 6. So 30 degrees is the same as pi over 6 radians. And that's really all radians are. So the other thing is that in a circle, right, there are 2 pi radians, and we know that pi is about 3.14, right? So 2 pi would be 6.28. That means that in a circle, okay, there are 6 and a little bit more radians. If you have a circle, okay, and here's my radius. Actually, let me do this in a different color. So if we have a circle and we have the radius, and this is something you're actually going to do on your own here, okay, I have a circle. There, that's a terrible color. There will be 6 and a little bit more of those that fit around. So a radian, okay, now clearly I'm estimating here, but that's about right, right? So that would be 1 radius, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a little bit more. Okay, 1 radian is the same as an arc length of 1 radius, right? So, right, I'm clearly estimating here, but if this is my radius and I took it like on a string and I measured it along here for the arc length of that circle, then this angle would be 1 radian. Okay, and that's actually what your assignment is going to be today, is that you are going to take one of the mandalas that I attached, and you are going to color in 1 radian of it, or you can do like the inverse and color in the rest of it and leave 1 radian blank.